Hey, everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another episode 11, in fact, of Blast from the Past Reviews, where we talk about movies, which are awesome, because they're blast from the past, of course. I am Steven, as always, joined by my wonderful co-host, Megan. How's it going, Megan?
Not bad, not bad. We are definitely doing a blast from the past movie because it's like black and
Yes.
white and everything, y'all.
Yes, going
Real blast from
full
the
old
past.
school.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And this is one of my, I'd say one of my favorite older movies, really. Came out in 41, I believe.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 1941.
No, look what Phil just said.
What did Phil say? What? Oh, did you hit it? Hang
what?
on.
Did I hit 1K?
Oh,
I have to look now. Hold on. Sorry, I interrupted.
oh, no. This is breaking news.
This is breaking news, guys. Let me check.
Oh,
I did!
1K.
Yes. What? Woo! Thanks. Woo! Sorry. That was a big milestone.
Look at
that. 1K.
1K.
Oh my goodness, that's
Can I
crazy.
zoom in? Yeah, there we go. Nice.
I hit that.
Well, yeah, congratulations.
I'm sorry. Thank you. I just interrupted the whole show.
Oh no, it's all good. That was worth interrupting.
Yes. Okay, guys, new goal. Okay. By February, March, 4,000 watch hours. Yes.
Oh, all right.
I have like 1,400 watch hours. I got ways to go.
Yeah.
Gotta do a lot of live streams and stuff.
Yeah. Yes, but you got Pokemon for that?
I have Pokemon that's helping a lot, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It is.
Yeah, I caught some of your Pokemon the other night.
I think people are just amused because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So.
I noticed that. I noticed that very quickly. I was even in the chat like, use this move. Like, it's weak against this. It says, like, right there, super effective.
I'm just like, I'm one of those people that I'm like, I habitually will do the same thing over and over because I'm familiar with it. I'm like, this is what I'm comfortable with.
Yep. Pokemon is basically slightly more complicated rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. I have to learn grass is weak against this, but it's strong against that. Fire and all the things. And I was like, oh, it's all clicking together. And very slowly, the pieces are falling into the puzzle in my brain. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
I'll say this latest iteration, we're going to talk about the movie, but we're going to talk about Pokemon as well, because it counts as Blast from the Past, because it came out like 25 years ago. So that kind of counts. This latest iteration is both like good for newer players, because it like...
It's very easy. Like, even I, who've never really played a lot of video games and have never played Pokemon, I'm like, this is an easy game. I can just tell it's very simple.
They are kids games. They pretty much always have been. But
is this easier or simpler than like previous?
Particularly all of the Switch games honestly have been a lot easier. Than compared to like the 3DS or the DS games. The DS games actually got pretty difficult for a while there. And these are a lot easier.
Okay.
In my opinion. But at the same time, you have like, I think the new Pokedex is like 1,000 different Pokemon. So you have to, if you really want to be like on top of your game, you have to learn all of those and like what their types are and everything. So it's like that.
Yeah. But I've also been told that it's easier to like level up now and stuff like that. And like if you wanted to level up your characters, you had to do it's character by character or Pokemon by Pokemon. But now whatever character you fight with, they level up, but then everybody else on the team, like the other 4 or whatever, level up as well. I mean, less, but they still do. Like you hardly have to do anything in some ways. And I was like, oh, okay, that simplifies things too. When
all
you're
of
playing.
The games have some sort of mechanic like that, but before it was something you had to unlock later in the game. And this one seems to be a lot more generous, I'll say.
Okay, yeah.
And I saw you picked the same starting Pokemon as me because it was an adorable kitty cat.
Yes!
I couldn't say no. I was like, oh, it's an adorable little kitty cat.
I almost went for that little fire guy. I can't remember what he is. The little chubby dude.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not going for that duck. He looks ridiculous.
The duck does.
Foxley,
I didn't like
he
him.
just looks ridiculous.
Didn't like him. The cat was super adorable. I kind of didn't want to evolve it because it was so adorable as a kid.
He's not as cute now that he's like evolved.
He's not. No,
Sad.
Unfortunately.
I wish they could still stay adorable. Some of them look really cool when they evolve, and then others are like, no.
I'll say the final evolution for that one it's not the worst, but it was an adorable kitty cat. I wanted it to stay an adorable kitty cat.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people went for the cat or the fire guy. I guess Quaxley was not that popular. Yeah.
No, nobody liked Quaxley. Everybody loved LeChonk, though. Like, before the game even came out, they're just like, LeChonk.
It's literally just a pig.
It's because it was named LeChonk.
Yeah. They didn't do anything special about him. He's just a pig.
Yep.
Named LeChonk.
Yep.
And I don't like fighting with him. I was like, you're
Yeah, I had him in the party for a little bit because, it's one of the first ones you see early in the game.
Too.
But no, I switched him out pretty soon.
It was all, you can go to the boxes. I'm done with you.
Yeah, and probably tomorrow, while I'm at work, I'll be taking on the Pokemon League.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to become champion.
Okay.
I've been playing it a lot at work.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
I wish.
I get downtime, so I get to play the game. But anybody comes in, I got to put it down and immediately hop up. So it's a trade-off.
Makes sense.
We have some people here, though. We've got a Phil. How's it going, Phil? I'm going to whoop your ass in some Mario Kart later, Phil. Prepare yourself. Get the lube, Phil. Be ready.
Oh, dear God.
That's if he's there. By the way, that is tonight, I think, at 10 o'clock Eastern, maybe, on Ord's Board channel, his main channel. We'll be doing Mario Kart. It's the Friday night after party, so definitely come for that. You can see Phil suck at the game. And we have a Paul. Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Hi, Paul.
Yes, and congrats on
thank you
1K. And Daniel, how's it going?
Hi, Daniel.
Yes, and yes, he's
thank you.
Cheering you on to get to 2K.
I need to get my watch hours first. I want to get monetized.
Yes, that's the most important part.
Yes.
Yes, Phil agrees. He would get the cat as well.
It's true.
Okay, let's to bring tissues for you, Steven. We'll make you cry after the epic butt whooping. Yeah, sure. We'll see, Phil. We'll see. Yeah. I think you're projecting, Phil. Good thing I'm not a commercial airline pilot then. Yeah. I
can't be playing Pokemon while you're, flying an airplane.
I mean, they have a co-pilot. You never know.
Yo, buddy, you fly? I got stuff to do over here.
Yeah. Look, they got to use the bathroom sometime.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Phil. We'll see.
I'll keep tallies. Talking here.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep tallies. I'm gonna have a list right here. I've got paper ready to go.
Oh, he's got paper.
I've got paper and pencils, and I'm gonna write down how many times I beat the crap out of you in some Mario Kart.
Wow, so hard copy records.
Yes. The records don't lie.
Especially the hard copy ones.
Yes, exactly.
No electronic
can't
junk
trust
here.
No. I don't even use the notepad on my phone. I don't trust it. They can change it. The government will come in and change my notes. They're going to add weird stuff to my shopping list.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
But there's a movie we're talking about.
Maltese Falcon. There is a movie, guys.
Yes. As I said before, this is one of my favorites. It kind of paved the way for the film noir genre, which really only lasted about 10 years. And then it came back in the 70s, and you have a couple of movies like here and there. that popped up. And then now we have like the neo-noir genre, which that really popped off with Blade Runner. And we have other movies that sort of follow the same type of formula, but typically in a more modern or even futuristic setting. But this was kind of the original that started it out, being adapted from the sort of bedside paperbacks that were popular in the 20s and 30s, and really all the way up until like the 50s and even 60s. But that's kind of where this movie started, and I absolutely love it. I think it's great, wonderful. The dialogue is amazing, and it really rests on the dialogue mostly.
Yeah.
But
well,
what did you think?
Telling you, I was like, it's kind of that era of like very dialogue focused, right? It's not like you're going to a lot of it's not very like scenic, it's not super action packed, it's very much focused on the story and the dialogue. And I mean, especially when you compare to movies nowadays, like dialogue feels like it's like the last thing they even think about, much less focus on. like like they're all about the scenery and the action and CGI, whatever. But the dialogue is bottom of the list. Yeah.
It's kind of turn your brain off and enjoy the pretty sights, whereas this one it might not look as great as like a modern film would, but you really have to have your brain turned on, and you have to be paying attention and listening to the conversations.
And that's the thing. I mean, I realize like nowadays, what are we doing? We're like we have a movie on, but you're like scrolling your phone, or you're doing chores, or you're like, and you're not like, I tend to watch a movie while I'm folding laundry. So I sit on my bed, I fold laundry, and the movie's like playing right in front of my face. So I'm more focused. But I hate when you sit down with people to watch a movie and then everybody's like, are we watching a movie? Like, what is the point here? But it's like, but you're still able to follow it because it's not complicated. We are very dumb now. And I don't know if we're dumber or we're just not as focused. It's maybe a mix of both.
Bit of both, yeah. I was going to say not as focused, but I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, we have to have it all right away. We have to have multiple sources of entertainment constantly bombarding us. Got to get that serotonin hit.
And I mean, I'm guilty of that. I am. And I'm trying to be like more aware, especially. And it's really helped that like we're doing this, because then in my mind, I'm like, I have to focus on this movie. So like I have things to say and I don't sound like I need to sound educated. So I have to watch it and not play on my phone. Yeah.
I try to like actively, like I'll take my phone and set it like somewhere away when I'm watching a movie or a TV show that I care about.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something I've seen before, I might, pull my phone out, play with it a little bit, or laundry. That's another big one. But I try to do like shows or movies I've seen before while I'm doing chores. So that way I can, if I have to tune out or walk out of the room, it's not a big deal.
I'm like more of a go onto YouTube and in the background play different people's videos while I'm doing chores. Play it like a podcast, Yeah.
I've been doing music more often. I kind of tend to go back and forth. Like I'll spend some time listening to music, spend some time listening to podcasts. I've been going back more into music while I'm doing chores and the like. And I honestly think it's a little bit nicer for me at least. But I'm not like learning stuff while I'm, doing chores. You don't get the multitasking aspect of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Phil's talking more shit. Daniel being constructive and aiding in the conversation. Yes,
Thank you,
Maltese
Daniel.
Falcon. It is a great one. And I'm glad you like this one, because there's a lot of other film noir movies.
Yeah, no, I would like to do more film noir. I like that.
Yes. In fact, I have two that are in the intro, also starring Humphrey Bogart, that aren't this movie. And those are Casablanca, which is just an all-time classic. Great movie. And which is technically film noir, but a lot of people just put it in as a classic drama. It's not a detective story, but it does follow a lot of the same themes, and cosmetically would be more film noir. And one that is definitely film noir is The Big Sleep that's
I've
a
heard of
great
that.
one.
I haven't seen it. I know I've seen Casablanca, but I
Mhm.
probably haven't really paid a lot of attention to it. Like I probably have to do it in film studies or something, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they just show you like a couple of scenes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, both are movies you have to like really sit down and pay attention to. Like even The Big Sleep, when I first watched it, I mean, I won't put any spoilers here, but when I first watched it, I kind of had to like stop and think about it because it almost seemed kind of confusing when I got to the end.
Right.
And after I'd stopped and thought about it for a while, it's like, okay, now things are starting to click together. And especially my second watch through, things were clicking a bit more. And this movie kind of does the same thing
It
with
does.
it.
Kind of by like the mid end, I had everything basically straightened out.
Mhm.
The people that I was suspicious of, my suspicions were correct and whatnot. But yeah, when I first started, I was telling you, I was like, I thought she was well, I mean, he kissed her and I was, "Oh, dude,
Mhm.
why? Why are you getting mixed up with her?" And then I realized, a few scenes there, oh, he knows she's playing him, so he's playing her, and they're just playing the game. Okay, okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was worried for him a little bit at first, for sure.
And then it all comes full circle right at the ending.
Mhm.
This is definitely one of those that a lot builds up towards those, like, really the last, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Everything changes. It all gets flipped.
Yep. Yep.
This is also one of the, I don't think it was the first movie to really, like, revolve around a single item because, everything's about the Maltese Falcon. It's an actual
Mhm.
black, ornamental bird. Kitty, I'm sorry, my cat's being an asshole here. Um, and I don't know if it was the first movie to do it, but I know that this was the film that Alfred Hitchcock referenced when he came up with the term MacGuffin, which is
Mm.
just an item that an entire movie revolves around, kind of like Pulp Fiction with the
Oh, yeah.
suitcase.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah.
revolves around the suitcase. And so this was kind of the start of that. And
Makes
it
sense.
also kind of subverts it. I mean, if we were to consider that to be like its own style of movie, without too many spoilers, it kind of subverts that at the end because the bird doesn't really matter.
Mhm. No, yeah. Which you are totally led to believe that it does 100%.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, throughout the film, like three people die. Two of them right at the beginning. Three people are killed over this bird.
So you're like, "Oh, this is like super special everything." Yeah, no.
Hmm.
Mhm.
One thing that I do think was not necessary with this film, but certainly was a product of the time, was you get the opening credit scroll where they tell you all about like the Maltese Falcon and everything right away, but they give you an explanation later on with dialogue that's like better than just reading about it, but very much a product of the time.
Mhm.
We've got a Tree Rock Creations in here. Have you ever
Hello.
watched The Counterfeit Contessa? I have not,
No.
but if it's along these same lines, I'll definitely check it out. Daniel agrees, misses this type of writing.
Mhm.
So I think part of it may be why films have shifted so much. Um, I think part of it might be that because we are able to do things with much more visual presence, that we've started relying on that more and more. Whereas back then, you just didn't really have that ability.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when you take into account how much technology has changed and everything, um, and how much easier it is to like film on location, all of those things, right? Um, and it's much more popular to film on location versus most of the time there's on a soundstage in a theater, like
Hmm.
right? So it's much more popular, and just it kind of things kind of shifted. How they've made movies has shifted for sure. So
Hmm.
that's definitely part of it. Yeah.
I I don't know. I guess I'd have to like really dive into the indie scene to see if that's still a thing that happens. But the last movie coming out, as far as like chronologically coming out that I can think of that really was like all dialogue, probably The Breakfast Club.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
that was what, mid 80s?
That's true. That was very dialogue heavy. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Whereas,
it's quite popular.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of movies that do have heavy dialogue tend to stand the test of time. This movie, 12 Angry Men, that's another one that's just talking. The entire movie takes place in a single room. And, it's just talking, but it stands the test of time. Someone mentioned here, Paul mentioned, where'd it go? There it is. The Truman Show was more dialogue driven. I have not seen Truman Show.
Nope. Never even heard of it.
Yep, Daniel brings up another good one. Yep, African Queen, which is a boat, not a person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was totally thinking a person, so.
No, it's a boat called the African Queen. It's actually about smuggling people.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're smuggling people in Africa, I think during World War II.
Alrighty then.
Kind of similar to Casablanca. But with this movie, it's more about like it's very underground criminal activity, sort of international intrigue is kind of what drives it. And it all gets brought to America and in San Francisco specifically. And we're just following along the tale of them trying to get a hold of the Maltese Falcon. And multiple people want it, each to their own ends. There's one guy with all of the money, and everybody's trying to get it for themselves so that they can sell it directly to the fat man.
The fat man. I thought that was just a name, and then we met him, and I was like, oh, he is a fat man. Okay.
He's a fat man.
They're being literal here.
Yep. And they even named him Gutman. It's almost like a Dick Tracy villain. It's, the fat man, Gutman.
Oh, man.
Which is an excellent character, too. Some of the best dialogue is between Sam Spade, Humphrey Bogart's character, and Gutman. Them just sitting down talking to each other.
Yeah, no, that was a good scene.
And Daniel brings up a good point. After the Hays Code, the writers got free.
What's the Hays Code?
Got a little crazy. So the Hays Code started in, I want to say, the late 30s, and it didn't really end until the late 60s. So there's about a 30-year period where essentially, there were still a lot of basically blasphemy laws on the books that states would say, would tell movie theaters, you're not allowed to play certain movies. If something were considered pornographic, it wouldn't be allowed to be shown in a public setting, which they considered theaters public settings. So the states basically went to the movie studios and told them, either you're going to police your own films or we're going to do it for you. And this guy named Hayes wrote up a code that, it's very reflective of the time. If you ever want a good laugh, look up the Hays Code, and it's things like the hero must always be a paragon of manliness and must be a good person, and the woman should always be virtuous, and all sorts of crazy stuff. It also had rules about black people.
Maltese Falcon isn't really like that, though. Exactly.
It really hugs the edge of what was allowed at the time, which I think is what makes it so good. Also, is they knew they had all of these rules, and so they're like, you know what? The good guy in the movie, the good guy, is really more of the anti-hero, kind of the original anti-hero.
Yeah. Because I assumed, this is our hero and this is our whatever, and then I was, that's not so. And also, it's funny, he keeps bringing up like that. What's her face?
O'Shaughnessy.
Yes, she's doing the sweet schoolgirl, innocent, whatever, and he sees right through here, and he keeps bringing up, stop doing the schoolgirl act, stop with the schoolgirl act. No, that's not gonna help you here. So she's not like an upstanding woman. They're hinting that she's not, but they never like straight out say it, and they never like show her to not be, but she's not. It's interesting.
Yeah, see, they don't show it, but they talk about it, particularly at the end when you find out what she has done. And we could get into spoilers, but I figured some people might like to see it without the spoilers, because it really helps to get sort of it's not like, I'd say it's a pretty good twist at the end, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the Hays Code was pretty nuts, and it was also like legitimately, not only was it legit sexist, it was legitimately racist. Like black people could not be the lead in a movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Which
okay then.
Oh yeah, it was a very screwed up code. It was a good thing we got rid of it, and really after it went away into the 70s, there were some excellent films that came out that were a lot dirtier and a lot grittier, like the Dirty Harry movies and the like, because they had finally lifted the Hays Code. And I want to say Night of the Living Dead was one of the first that really sort of exploited what they were able to after they dropped the Hays Code, because George Romero wanted to have a black man as the hero of his zombie movie, but he couldn't really do it. So finally, when they dropped the Hays Code, he was like, all right, time to make this movie. Because he was a big proponent of civil rights.
Yeah, so like Maltese Falcon was like really trying to push the limits there and be controversial.
It was 1940s edgy. That's what it was. Yeah. And the main character smokes too much.
He drinks.
He drinks too much. Yeah, his partner dies, and he doesn't seem particularly concerned.
I know,
about his partner dying.
He was so stoic. So they do a really good job right off the bat of making you think, oh, he had a part in this or something.
Yeah. Yep. And he's sleeping with his partner's wife, but he really wants nothing to do with her, so he's constantly dodging her.
Yes.
Yep. And that leads the police onto him because they find out about it. And he very much does seem like in control the whole time.
Yeah.
Because the police don't really know what they're doing. He even tells off the district attorney. Like, just straight up tells him, pinch me or subpoena me or so I can come back with my lawyer. But other than that, I'm done talking to you, and storms out of the room.
Yeah.
So he's still the alpha in the room almost at every point in time, except for when he gets drugged in the one scene.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, there really aren't any good people in this movie.
There's nobody that stands out as the good guy or the hero or the one who's like going to save the day. You don't have that type of storyline or plot.
And you know what? Screw it. I'm going to get into a couple of spoilers here. Nothing specific, but I'll say when it gets to the end and, he basically turns everyone in. He's not doing it because it's the right thing to do. He's doing it because it would look bad on his business if he let his partner get killed and he didn't do anything about it. And he wants to get the police off his back.
Yeah, he doesn't even really care about his partner. And like 2 days after his partner died, he tells his secretary, oh, change the name on the sign on the windows to just mine. And it's like, whoa.
Take his desk out.
Like, okay. Yeah, let's just disappear him. And that's just suspicious too. You think you would take your time about that?
Nope. Not worried about finding a new partner either.
Nope. Interesting. He does in the story. They do it they do not do the expected thing, which I kind of liked about it. It would be expected that he would like mourn his partner and try and seek vengeance upon him, and didn't do that.
I mean, even when he's at the crime scene, looking down the hill, seeing his partner right there, he's very methodical about it. He's talking to the police officer, and he's like, well, the gunman stood here and shot him point blank, and he fell through the fence and rolled down the hill. That about it? Then he goes off for a walk.
Yes! He doesn't even go see the body, nothing. And then he tells the policeman he's going to go talk to the guy's wife, but he tells his secretary to do it instead. He just completely distanced himself, like just cutting off. Okay, moving on with my life. Immediately.
And he lies to the cops a lot.
We got the butts.
Oh, I see.
Holy crap. Why?
You know what needs to happen? There we
there's a
go.
whole bunch of different
I'm
ones.
making people moderators. Hey Phil, you're a mod now. If you would be so kind, Phil. That's
Get
what I'm
him,
gonna do.
Phil. Is Phil even?
He might be gone. He might
Phil,
be
are you
gone.
gone? Phil.
Oh, nope, Phil's on it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. I was thinking about that earlier this week too. I was like, I need to make someone a mod. I know I've seen Phil do it in other channels, and he's
Yeah.
like quick
No,
with
Phil's
that
a
stuff.
great mod.
Yeah.
Phil is awesome.
Oh, but yeah, him lying to the cops all the time because he lies to the cops, like you said, about him talking, saying his secretary talked to his partner's widow. He then like completely spins stories when he gets a hold of the Maltese Falcon. He tells them like the phone call came in exactly as it did, but without the package. And I got the phone call and you didn't. You don't know what it's about. All right, you got that? And then storms out the door. A lot of storming out of the door.
Oh, yes. Man. Lots of entrances and exits.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very distinct entrances and exits. I think the best exit is probably when he's first talking to the fat man and he won't give him the information about what the bird is. And so he throws his cigar on the floor. He breaks the cup on the table and glass flies everywhere. And he's up and he's shouting and he slams the door. And then immediately his demeanor changes. It was all a ruse.
Mm-hmm. And that was surprising to me because I was thinking he's finally showing emotion and he's just been this very emotionless, stoic, neutral person. No. That wasn't real.
All an act. All to make
all an act.
That he's flying off the handle and he doesn't have control over himself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I had a couple of comments here. Yeah, we are only as focused as the writing demands. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Daniel says, when I'm watching a movie, I'm watching the damn movie. Also, I really loathe those jackasses who check their phones in the cinema. Yes. That is the worst.
You're not at home in the comfort of your own home. You need to be respectful of people around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I've said things to people in the theaters like, hey, I could see that.
Yeah. Who are you talking to? Let me know this drama.
Yep.
You should swipe left.
Yeah, right. I understand if it's like an emergency or something,
right?
But you should
but get up and leave then.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, no, it's like you're in the theater and all you see is the shine coming from the phone. And it's not as bad at home because you can pause the movie. Because that's one of my rules when I'm watching a movie is I'm the same way. I'm focused in on the movie. But I like to talk about it as well. So like, the wife will even tell me like, hey, pause it. And I have no problem pausing a movie and talking about it. Never an issue. But I don't like talking during the movie.
Yeah, no. Oh, I hate people that talk during a movie. You want to pause and talk, that's fine. But yeah.
Yep.
Don't talk during.
You can't. It ruins it. Tree Rock suggests Treasure of the Sierra Madre. I have been wanting to watch this movie. It's every time it's been on like a streaming service, I've missed it. By the time I get around to wanting to watch it, it goes away. I don't really know anything about it. It's supposed to be like three men chasing after the same treasure through the desert. A bit more of like an adventurous movie, but it looks good. It's a classic. Paul agrees. Says good movie. Let's see. So it was 1985 for Breakfast Club. And yep, John Hughes movies all have good dialogue. I would agree. They're all pretty much dialogue driven as well, which I think just dialogue driven films, even films that have action but are still driven through the dialogue, that's kind of dying away too.
Yeah.
They're all driven by the action.
And then they slip the dialogue in like, oh, I guess we should talk here. Okay.
And it's almost entirely expository for modern films. Like, this is what I'm doing because of this. It's, yeah. Whereas, like, with this film, they have exposition, but it's all driven within their conversations. And it might be because this was, theater was still very prominent here, but in this film and most older films, but particularly in this one, the conversations almost feel like they're playing ping pong. Like they have a point and they're just constantly bouncing it back and forth, and it changes a little bit with each person.
It's very classical type acting, very like theater driven acting. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a bit of an example here. Let's see. I was going to go with this one. So, having to do YouTube this time, so we'll see if we get taken down or not. Might happen. Yeah, I think this is a good scene to kind of, just see how the dialogue is in this.
You sit down, Mr. Carroll.
Thank you, sir.
Now, what can I do for you, Mr. Cairo?
We a strange offer condolences for your partner's unfortunate death.
Thanks.
See, there you go. Yeah, your partner died. I'm sorry. May I offer my condolences? Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Dear Mr. Spade, as the newspapers imply a certain relationship between that unfortunate happening and the death a little later of the man Thursby. I beg your pardon, no.
And even when he's not saying anything, just sitting there very coolly, just blowing out a cigarette smoke, it says a lot. Like, this isn't what we're here to talk about. Discuss business or don't talk at all.
Which is like, it's like reacting. Like, this is like, so I studied theater. I studied theater, acting for theater and film and TV. And it was like a classical theater program at a college, but I never took general acting courses. And this is the type of stuff we would study, and this is the type of stuff we would do. Where even if the other person is talking, there's two things you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to be thinking about your own lines, and you're not supposed to zone out. You are supposed to focus in on that person and what they're saying as if it's the first time you've ever heard them say it, as if this is like a normal everyday conversation. Right? So that you can react truthfully to that conversation. And it is that back and forth. And it's very natural. Just like normal human interaction encounters should be.
Yes.
So yeah, we did a lot of this. And I just remember in acting class just being yelled at, stop zoning out. I can tell you're thinking about your lines. Stop thinking about your lines. Like,
how do you not think about your lines, though? Like,
you have them memorized. You memorize them so well that you trust that you know them, and then you let it go.
Okay.
Which is hard to do, but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that does seem hard. But I guess if you're trying to have...
our teacher also told us, she's like, don't worry about your lines. Because think about, like, in conversation, we do this in conversation. Sometimes we're just like listening so that we know what to say back. But she's like, in a truthful conversation, you're having a good conversation with somebody, in that you're really like interested in that person and what they have to say. You don't usually stop and think about what you're going to say back because you're so intrigued and into what's coming out of their mouth, what they're saying, right? Like when you have a good, enjoyable conversation with somebody and you think back on it, were you just sitting there going, I'm going to say this next, Or was it just like a very smooth, natural, enjoyable conversation?
Like listening to listen, not listening to wait your turn. Yeah.
So like you memorize your lines, and I studied Meisner. So you memorize in rote. You just memorize with, you don't practice emotion in there. You don't practice, I'm going to do this. You just memorize the words. Okay, those are the words. So that in the moment, because you are zoned in on your partner, you know them, you know the lines, they're there. You're so zoned in on your partner that those lines are going to come out, but they're going to come out in a very believable way.
So
you are reacting to them. Yeah. which is really difficult. But
Yeah.
this is what I see
There's-
here, like that classical training that you don't see a lot of anymore. Really.
You really don't. You really
It's
don't.
just a bunch of celebrities saying lines and waiting for their really smart, witty line that they get to say or whatever.
It seems like a lot of the bigger like movie stars that once they go into theater, I think because there is much more craft to it, they kind of stick to theater for the most part.
Well, and I've also noticed that British actors or actors from the United Kingdom tend to be way better actors, right? Think about all the ones we like the best. They're probably from the United Kingdom. Why? Because they still follow a very classical acting training, very theater based there. Very respectable. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you hear like a lot of people coming out of the Royal Shakespeare Company still. And I mean, yeah, some of my favorites did that. Patrick Stewart, Christopher Lee, Ian McKellen.
Yep.
Yeah, all classically trained theater guys who then went into movies.
Yep. And it shows, man. It shows.
Yeah. And I think that the guy we see on screen here, Peter Lorre, I'm pretty sure he started in theater. I know Humphrey Bogart did he did like advertising before he went into movies, but it was still its own form of acting.
Yep. And they still did a lot of training and studying. And I feel like nowadays actors don't do that as much, or the majority of them, they don't. They're not really focused on like honing their craft, you know?
I think that there's a lot of good actors out there that are unfortunately underutilized.
Yes.
Like, I was watching a little bit of Friday Night Tights earlier, and they were mentioning that the DC universe actually has these amazing actors in their cast. Like they have Henry Cavill, who's a great actor.
Yeah, and look at him. Where is he from? Like
he's from England, yes.
Yep.
And then they were saying like Robert Pattinson for Batman, which they were saying he did. I didn't see Batman, but I will say from the other movies I've seen him in, he is an excellent actor.
Yep.
I did Twilight, but he is a good actor. Yeah, and once again, England.
Yep.
And there, Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker. Had one good movie out of him. They're supposed to be doing a sequel. We'll see how that goes. I'm trying to think who else they were talking about. I don't pay too much attention to the DC, so I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
who the other big ones are.
I really don't.
I remember Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, however you say it, but I don't think she's a very good actress. I think she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she definitely got places on her looks, and she definitely just relies on her looks to get her places and get herself roles.
Yeah, I will say she did seem to have she seems to have gotten better since her first role. As first time she did Wonder Woman. Oh, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He's a really good actor. So, but they're all sort of underutilized. What's the last good DC movie?
Yeah, and it doesn't help that there's not good writing, right? Like they are not only underutilized, but also they don't really have a lot to work with. They don't have a lot to show. They don't have a lot to bring because they're not given a lot to bring. Because again, movie making is so focused now on CGI and scenery and action and stuff. They can't really shine.
Yeah, it's all spectacle. That's all we get these days is spectacle films.
Yep.
Which there have been good spectacle films that have come out over the years, even ones that have had good writing to them. I would say the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are both spectacle films that are both well written.
Yep.
So it can happen.
Yeah, it can.
We don't get it. We do get it in TV still, though. There have been a lot of good TV shows still coming out.
Because TV, they're calmer. They're not in like this panic mode of like deliver a thing. They're like, yeah, we have time. We can like flesh this out. We can work on it. We can, they're not trying to just throw the whole story at you. They have time to build on it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess that's what this movie sort of does different, because there's really no action. Like, we see one person actually get shot, the other two people get shot off screen. One guy we don't even see at all in the movie, Thursby. You don't even see him in the film. You just hear over a phone call that he was shot. That's it. And then the boat captain who brings the Falcon into the office, he gets shot off screen. Now he does disarm a lot of people. That's one of the memes in this movie.
He's got skills in disarming.
He does. He just takes their guns constantly. And in fact,
and sometimes the same people he disarms like 2 or 3 times. That one guy, I'm like, come on, buddy, you should have seen this coming by now.
Yep. I think he disarms both Joel Cairo, played by Peter Lorre here, and I can't remember the other actor's name, but the young kid who had the 2 45s in his pocket, this freaking hand cannons he's walking around with in his pockets. He disarms both of them twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, those are like the two sort of, I guess you could say, memes I noticed throughout the movie watching it this time. Is one, he disarms everybody, and two, I think he says the line, "That's a lot of money," like 5 times. It's like, what do you think about $5,000? $5,000, a lot of money.
Yeah. What do you think about this? That's a lot of money. What do you think about that's a lot? Okay.
Yep.
All the money is a lot of money.
A lot of money. Yeah. You really think that'd be worth $1 million? And then you're thinking about it like, wait, this is 1941. $1 million. That's a lot of money. That'd be like someone these days coming in and be like, oh yeah, it's probably worth like $50 million. Like,
yeah.
$50 million?
Dang.
That's a lot of money.
Oh man.
So we're getting close to wrap up time here. Gonna do a bit of a shorter episode just so everyone knows. But I'd say, what would you say was like your favorite part of the movie?
I don't know if I had one favorite part. I think, like, for me, I don't usually get attached very quickly unless I've seen a movie a couple times. Yeah, and this one I actually only watched it once, and I usually watch these movies twice, but I only watched it once this time. But I did like the interactions between him and Shaughnessy throughout the movie. Those were probably my favorite character interactions. For sure. Optic Racer!
Hey, Optic Racer. Thank you for joining us right at the end here, though.
I know, sorry.
I think, yeah, like
I'm skipping out on him early.
Oh, yeah. So sorry about that, Optic Racer. But I think, like, especially the last conversation between Spade and O'Shaughnessy, that's like one of those powerful ones of, he keeps saying over and over again, like, I'm not going to play the sap for you. And it's like, oh, that's it's like old timey, detective speak, which I love.
Yes.
But it's a really good point of, I'm not gonna be your fool. That's what it is. That's what he keeps telling her. And the way she's treated him the whole time, she's never been truthful to him.
Oh, no. And then, of course, he's still, like, playing her. And she's still kind of, like, being all clingy with him because what else does she exactly have at this point? Because she's kind of just backed herself into a corner, basically. So now then all of a sudden I think maybe at the end she's throwing out everything she has, but he's seen everything she has, so there's nothing. She's got nothing. So yeah, I think just my favorite parts of the movie at this point are between those two. Because their interactions amuse me.
I'd say, once again, it's character interactions, because that's what you have in this movie. I think the conversations with Spade and Gutman, those are some of my favorites. You did say you liked that scene. Yeah, those are probably my favorite, especially just the way in which Gutman, just the way in which he speaks. His words are, very flowing, and he's constantly. It seems like he's talking just to talk at some points in time, but he's always saying something. There's always something important driven in there. And I mean, he even says at one point in the movie, like, I'm a man who likes to talk to a man who likes to talk.
It's true.
But yeah, we're coming up on 8 o'clock here, and we have a bedtime tonight. Sorry, guys, it's curfew. So,
Oh, there's my
in
alarm.
fact, there it goes. There it goes. Well, why don't you let everyone know what you got going on, and we'll try and figure out how to blow up your image here.
Oh boy, I hate when this happens. Okay, so you can catch me here. The new reviews are on Twitter and Instagram as Megan Leigh, and I am right now trying to stream Pokemon Violet, so that will be happening tomorrow. Wait, what's tomorrow? Saturday? Yes, tomorrow sometime. And I'm always like last minute, and I'll post a link on Twitter, Instagram, and my community. When I'm playing Pokemon, I'm trying to do a comic book review for Sunday. And then Monday, I do Manga Mondays. And Wednesday, I have independent comic book reviews usually. And I'm going to try and do anti-steam junk Western. So.
That's Ginger Ninja, right?
Yeah, Ginger Ninja's comic book. I haven't even read it. I flipped through it. He gave it to me in Orlando. So.
Okay.
I need to get on that.
Yeah. He's an amazing artist, so yeah.
No, I love his art. I'm very excited to actually sit down and read that comic book. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. So you can catch me later on this evening over on Ord's Board, his main channel, doing the Friday night after party. We're going to play some Mario Kart. I'm going to whoop the crap out of you, Phil, again. Bring your A game, because need some Actually, there's some guys there who are much better than me, but I'm still better than Phil, and that's what's important. Then Sundays, you can find me on Ord's second channel, Ord's World, where we do the Sunday morning podcast, where we get high and talk about amazing things of nostalgia from the 80s and 90s mostly. Then Tuesdays, you can find me over on Supreme Heretics channel doing the United Resistance. I always forget that name. I don't know why, but United Resistance Tuesdays, 6:45, and then back here next Friday. So yeah, everybody.
Busy.
I know, yes. Not quite as busy as you, but keeping busy, yes. Yeah, everyone out there, if you haven't seen Maltese Falcon, while I punch my microphone here, go watch it. Excellent movie, highly recommend. And anything else to add? No. All right. Well, have a great one, everybody. And we have an outro. I always forget until the last second. We have an outro.
That's true. Every time.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
No. He's looking at you, kid.
Goodbye, Boo.
Kitty.
Kitty has to go.
I'll see you. Not if I see you first.
Hello.
Grandpa? Maybe you could come over and read it again to me tomorrow.
As you wish.